Hey girlies, it's your girl back with another video. So for today's video, it's gonna be kind of random but not really. I have a couple new goodies. I picked up the new E.L.F. This is their Halo Glow skin tint. I picked one up in the shade 6 Light Cool. I wanted to try it, and I also picked up their E.L.F. lip revivers. Please judge me kindly for buying all of them. But they were like only $8, I think. I saw them on TikTok and they just looked so pretty. And I feel like all of the shades were really pretty. So I was like, you know what? We're just gonna collect them all. So just a few goodies that I want to try out. But I also want to talk about the Love Island drama. Oh my god. I want to preface this by saying that I didn't make any notes for this. So if it feels like it's all over the place, I'm sorry. It's just a lot going on. And I think also because of the nature of the show and how there's new episodes that come out basically every day, it just moves so fast. So this is gonna be, today's June 21st. So everything that I talk about is gonna be from episode 16 and before that, okay? So if you're interested, then just stay tuned. Okay, the E.L.F. Halo Glow Skin Tint is going for $18. It does have SPF 50, which honestly is good for the amount of SPF that it has. They came out with 18 shades. They're saying they came out with 18 flexible shades. With skin tints, I think it's easier to have smaller shade ranges because since it is a lighter coverage, you can get them to work a little bit better for, you know, wider skin tones. It's a hydrating serum-like skin tint that delivers light, buildable coverage with a natural dewy finish plus mineral SPF 50 sunscreen with no white cast. So we're gonna see what is up with the what's up. I did get the shade 6, which is light cool. I think recently I've been discovering that even though I am like a warm, I feel like I'm a neutral warm. Does that make sense? In the past, I used to always get like warm, light, medium, warm shades, but I always looked super yellow. And I feel like now that I've been getting more neutrally shades, my shade matches have been better. So I wanted to try this. It says it's 6 Light Cool. So we're gonna see what this looks like. Usually I like to do wear tests with foundations, but since it's a skin tint, I feel like if you're gonna be wearing a skin tint for all day, it's not gonna last all day. It just doesn't have the lasting power that a regular foundation would have. So I would not advise using a skin tint for like 12-hour wears. I think if you're gonna be going to like a 5-hour event, 8-hour event, maybe like work or something, then skin tints would be good options for that. But if you're looking for something for all day wear, don't use a skin tint. So we're not gonna do a wear test for this one, but I did want to do like a review slash like first impressions moment. Okay, so here we go. I actually think that's a really good shade match. I kind of put a lot on that side, so let me just chill out on this side. So this is the foundation just by itself. I think once I put bronzer and stuff on, it'll be a better shade match. But also I think I might pick up the next shade over. I might not actually, because I don't need to be doing that. It's a good match for like my face shade, but for my body, I don't think it is. But anyways, how do I talk about what I want to talk about without being all over the place? Okay, so this is the foundation just with that first layer. I will say it has a good amount of coverage, but it's still very light. Like it's definitely giving your skin but better vibes. I do really like how it's laying on my skin. I'm gonna put a little bit more just so I can have a little bit more coverage, but I feel like you do have to put low-key a good amount to have some of that coverage if you need it. I definitely have acne marks and redness that I like to cover up. I'm gonna leave this like this, but that's all of the coverage that you're basically gonna get with the foundation. So take a closer look. I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows off camera, and then we're gonna come back and talk about Love Island. We got stuff to talk about. Brows are on, and now I have shit to say. Okay, so in the beginning, I was really like, you know how when Jeremiah and Huda first started, and it seemed like they were just like all about each other, and they were kind of like giving closed off vibes to like the rest of the group. And part of me, I feel like I can relate, because I'm very much like, when I'm in a lover girl place with my man, he's gonna get all of me. When me and my man first started dating, like he was obsessed with me. I was like, period, that's how it should be. And I feel like that was kind of how Jeremiah was with Huda at first, you know, and how they were with each other. That's why I was like kind of like, I was kind of upset when people were like, oh my gosh, she's love bombing her. But low-key, I feel like if you go back and rewatch, you can tell that Jeremiah actually really liked Huda. And I'm gonna start off by saying that like I'm a Jeremiah fan. I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, he's like the shittiest person ever, but I actually like Jeremiah. I feel like he's just very misunderstood, and I haven't done any digging on anybody behind the scenes. I feel like everything that I know from each of the main cast members, or anybody honestly on the show right now, everything I know from them I've learned against my will through like social media sites or people reposting stuff on my social media that I follow. So I haven't done any real digging, so I don't really know the ins and outs of everybody. This is just from like the superficial surface that I've been able to gather. Okay, I saw that Jeremiah is actually, and he said it himself, he's a huge book nerd, and you know, he's just kind of like a nerd, and like I think he's a guy that like kind of recently became more like confident, and he's not ugly, so like he grew into that and kind of is like getting used to like what comes with that, I feel like, at this point in his life. And so he was naturally attracted to Huda because, you know, she's a baddie or whatever. He even said in the beginning, I wasn't really one to put all of my eggs in my basket, but like, this is my favorite basket. And I'm like, you know what, period. I don't know, I guess I really appreciated that about them, that they were like, why should we do the game how everybody else wants us to play it? Because if you think about it, Love Island, the point of the game is to find a match. And I think social media and the internet, sometimes a lot of the time people just love to pick and choose like what they have a problem with, right? Yes, they're there to explore, but like they don't have to, they don't want to, you know, like don't get mad at these people because this is how they're choosing to play the game. And it's just like, oh, we need to kick them out because they're not exploring. Like, they found their match. Is that not the point of the show? Like, it's not clocking to me. It's not clocking to me. The mentality there, I just didn't understand that because people were just so mad. And honestly, when I say people were so mad, I mean Ace, oh my gosh, he also took us through a whirlwind of things, but we'll get to that later. Huda, I really did like her at first. I really did. I was definitely a Huda fan. And then it got to the episode where they voted, where America got to vote who would be paired up with Iris and who would be paired up with, I think, Jalen, I think it was. And everybody voted for Jeremiah to be paired up with Iris, which I thought was crazy, you know, but I feel like it was just because everybody was like against Huda at this point, and they were just like, fuck it, like we need to do something better for the villa. I voted for Iris to be paired up with Ace. Like, I don't know, I feel like I'm probably gonna ruffle some feathers in this video because I know I'm not gonna have the same opinion as everybody else, but you know, we can agree to disagree and it's okay, you know, like it's just a show. These are real people on the show, so I feel like sometimes people don't realize that, you know, people going through real life emotions. They're in their early 20s, and at that point in my life, I was like, so I'm 28 now, and if I were to go back to when I was 24, I'm not the same person, like mentally, emotionally, physically, like I'm not the same person I was. So I can only imagine the whirlwind of emotions that is happening when you're on this island secluded from everybody. You're not able to text people that you actually know. Like, you don't even know if you can really trust the people that are there with you, you know? So it's just a lot. So when people voted Jeremiah to be with Iris, Huda was like, oh my gosh, does America hate me? And then people were telling Huda, oh, maybe they were trying to protect you, maybe America is seeing something that you're not. And I just feel like Alandria said that, and I'm like, I mean, I guess I can see how you can interpret that. I think Huda put up like a defense mechanism and told herself, you're a liar, you're a bitch, this, that, and third, to shield and protect herself from thinking that America hated her. And then she ran with it, like all the way, every way that there was to run, she ran with it, okay? Which was really crazy because, you know, calling this man out of his name was crazy. Like, calling him a liar, okay, whatever. Calling him a bitch, that's crazy. So Huda also got mad when Jeremiah didn't come over and like try to see what was like going on with her. But I think just because somebody isn't handling a situation the same way you would, it also depends on like what the situation is, right? Because not everything should be, I think, weighed the same. But when it comes to this situation, I can understand why she would be upset that Jeremiah didn't come figure out what was wrong with her, right? But also, he was also going through a lot of emotions too. The guys were getting upset with him that he wasn't exploring, and he was like trying to tell them like, no, like this is how I want to play the game, like why are you upset? And then when he goes exploring with Iris, they're like, oh, well, do you even like Huda, this and that? I'm like, so he just can't win. Like, they really were just like trying to pull at him from every angle. And low-key, Ace was the one who was like stirring everything, and then Nick was like falling in line with him. Anyways, I can understand why Huda would be upset that he didn't come check on her, but then, you know, later the next day he did, and he apologized, and he apologized even after she was calling him out his name, like apologizing after she called him a bitch. And then that just wasn't enough for her. Like, she was still going, and at this point I was like, I can't defend you no more. I cannot defend you no more, because this man is apologizing like calmly, like he's not trying to argue with you no more. He's trying to get through this. He's seen the crazy and he's still apologizing, trying to make shit work, and you are still putting him through it. And I was just like, sometimes, like, I think she just wanted him to beg her. I think I started realizing that Huda, the more episodes that I've watched after that whole situation, the more I've come to realize that Huda is just about Huda. Like, she doesn't, like, she's just very much about herself, and she doesn't care about anybody else. And I feel like the main topic right now has been Huda, but I'm really hoping that as the show progresses, we get to see more of everybody else. Because at this point, like, Huda doesn't really need no more camera time. The more she's on, I'm like, the more cringe it is to me. And I'm just like, I hate that I feel that way about her, but it's just like, at this point, that's what you've given me. And like, I know people are on the internet talking about a redemption arc. I don't know if there is an option for that at this point. But anyways, moving on. Jeremiah, I think he's a sweet guy. I don't know if Adrena is the girl for him, but we gonna see. Adrena seems really sweet, really nice. Body is T. She is so pretty. I love that they brought in another Latina into the wait, is she the only one? No, because Sierra's in there. So yeah, I thought she was really pretty. Who else do I want to talk about? Ace and Shelly. Shelly is actually one of my favorites on there, even though I feel like from the beginning we knew that Shelly wanted Ace. Austin was a safe option, and she like was holding on to him for like in case, or like to keep her safe, to keep her spot safe in the villa. He was a safe option. And I hate how basically I feel like Shelly tried to make it seem like she had a say in like what was going on in the three of them in the love triangle, but really Ace had all the power. She was just waiting for Ace to like pick her literally like 3 different times. And I'm like, I hate how, like, I don't know, I just didn't like how that looked for Shelly, you know, because she's so pretty, she's so like nice, genuine, funny, like she's just so cute. And I'm like, you're just waiting on this man to pick you. And also they weren't really like bringing in good people for them to pick, you know, like bombshells. The male bombshells just have not been great, you know. This happens often in the world where like girls are just prettier. There are a lot more prettier women than there are attractive men, and I think the people from Love Island just don't have a good pool to pick from. I wasn't gonna do my eyeshadow, but we're just gonna do something light. I'm gonna be using my Lunar Beauty, their Day to Night palette. I'm going first with this one to put in the transition area. But what was I saying? I'm curious to see what Shelly and Ace's relationship, how it will continue to progress as the show progresses, because you know we're still like, I feel like we're at a halfway point at this point. Usually the show has about like 30 plus episodes, so we still have a little bit of headway to make. Who else? Sierra. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, when she first came into the villa, I did not really like her. I don't know what it was about her. I think it was because as a bombshell she came in very much like pick me from my perspective, but then I feel like she actually really did like Nick. But she is growing on me. I actually really appreciate how she sat down with Huda and was like, hey girl, you don't need to be moving like that. You need people in your life that can be honest with you when you're not doing the right thing. You know, they just want better for you. And I think the way she came and talked to her, and the way she presented herself, the way she spoke to Huda, I think was very eloquently and very like in the right tone, she just did everything right so that Huda could really take that in. But also, she wasn't the first one. Taylor was the first guy to actually check Huda. He was like, we can't be doing that no more. Like, you cannot be acting like crazy all the time no more. Like, that shit is not okay. You're bringing the vibes down, girl. Like, and it's so funny because I had a client and she mentioned this too, like last season, yes, there was drama, but if we're gonna compare from last season to this season, Leah and like her situation with Andrea and stuff, like yes, there was drama, but the vibes were not down in like the pits of hell. It was still very light and airy, and like obviously there's drama, but it wasn't feeling like it's feeling this season, you know. So I'm really glad that Taylor, you know, as a friend, talked to Huda, and Alandra was there too. Taylor really talked to her and was like, we can't be doing that no more. That's not okay. Then Sierra, you know, also pulled her and reinforced that same sentiment. So I think you need people like that. You can't always be afraid to hurt somebody's feelings. Sometimes you need to be honest with people and deliver it in a way so that they can like take it in and not feel bad about what they're doing, but like you're coming from a place of love and like, you know, we just want we just want you to do better. We want better for you. And also it's affecting everybody in the villa at this point. I think they did a really good job talking to her about her wrongdoings and her being crazy, because it was just a lot. I feel like it was progressively getting worse, and I think at this point I don't know if there's gonna be anybody for Huda. If there's any new guys, if they've watched how she's acted on the show thus far, I don't think they're gonna want to deal with that. I don't think that's like attractive. Some people like crazy, but like what she was doing was a lot. But anyways, Taylor is actually one of my favorite guys. I think he's my favorite guy on the season. I just love his personality. He's really goofy, really sweet, very respectful. I think he understands respect because he's a countryman. One thing about countrymen, they move off of respect. So if you coming at them sideways, or they can just feel the energy, that's just how they are. So I really appreciate him, even though with him and Alandria, I don't know that like he really likes Alandria for real. I feel like he says that he likes her more now, but I wonder if that's just because he's getting to a point where he's realizing that this has to be his pick for like the end of it, you know? I don't know, because for a long time he said that he just wasn't getting the physical. Does that mean that like it was because she was not affectionate, or is it because he wasn't really attracted to her? You know, I'm not sure which one it was, and this is my opinion. Alandria and Taylor, to me, like I think they both like each other as people and like they appreciate each other, but I don't think there's like a spark there. I don't see chemistry between the two of them. Not like Ace and Shelly, you know, not like Huda and Jeremiah had. I just don't see a spark there between them. I'm curious to see what's gonna happen. There's still plenty of show left to go. Maybe there'll be people that come in from, I'm gonna go in with this one really fast, this gray one. Maybe there'll be people that will come in for Casa Amor that will turn some tables, you know. We never know. If we can count on anything, it's for Love Island to be messy, and they pull plenty stops, okay? So we'll see what ends up happening. I just finished my eyeshadow, well, most of it. I did go in the crease with this one, and then I also put this sparkly one in all over the lid to make it like a sparkly smoky moment. I'm also thinking I'm gonna go in with some black liner, but first I'm gonna go in with a pencil brush. Okay, I'm gonna go in with that same one that we put in the crease and put that underneath my waterline. But what was I talking about? Who else? Alandria? I still don't know how I feel about her. She seems sweet, but I feel like, and maybe this is just me being crazy, right? Y'all remember that one time when Ace was setting up the breakfast, or no, I think he was gonna do like a yoga thing with Shelly, right? And then that was when Amaya and Shelly got into it, and they were upstairs arguing and Ace was downstairs getting things together, and then he was just waiting for her, and then Alandria goes down and she's like, oh, telling him that they were getting into it. It seems like somebody's moving very sneakily. And from my interpretation, I thought she was talking about Shelly. I talked about this with my sisters and they're like, no, maybe I think he was talking about Ace. I don't know what she was talking about, but I interpreted that she was making it seem like Shelly was moving sneakily, because this was when Amaya was partnered up with Ace. They still hadn't had that conversation, right? That like Ace wasn't trying to be with Amaya or whatever. Or maybe they had, I can't remember. But anyways, Alandria was like, it seems like somebody's moving very sneakily, and then he's like, oh, so you think we should just cancel it? And then she was like, yeah. And from my perspective, I feel like she shouldn't have had a say in like canceling what he was doing for her. I think they could have still had it. I don't know. My sister was like, oh, maybe she was just like reading the room and trying to avoid making the situation worse. I don't know. I just feel like Alandria shouldn't have told Ace to cancel the yoga thing that he was setting up for Shelly. I don't know. Who else can we talk about? Hannah. Hannah was with Charlie for the longest, and I feel like it was her fault that Charlie went home, because you know America seen that she was down Pepe's throat, so they're like, oh, maybe we need to send, I can't remember what the situation was, but anyway, she was down Pepe's throat, so obviously we weren't thinking that what she had with Charlie was strong. The way she was tore up when Charlie went home, I was not expecting that. Like, she was like boo-hoo crying so hard. And then what was crazier was that after Charlie went home, she was down Pepe's throat again as if Charlie never existed. That was crazy. So we gonna see what happens with them. I think also, back to Huda, because you know, Hurricane Huda, it was crazy when Huda's situation with Jeremiah settled. Why did Huda go and pull Pepe? And mind you, Hannah was the only one that was, well, you know, they were all comforting her, kind of, but I think Hannah was the one who was like going to her the most to like comfort her with the whole situation when she was acting crazy, and then she goes and pulls Pepe as if she didn't know that Pepe and Hannah were like a thing. So I thought that was a very interesting indeed. who else is in the villa? Amaya. Amaya, she's so silly. I like Amaya. I think she can be a lot, but I think she's a very sweet girl. I don't know about her and Austin though. I feel like Amaya's problem is that as soon as she gets in a couple, she thinks they're dating. You know, just how she was, you know, calling Ace babe and baby and this on that. She's starting to do that with Austin, and now Austin's like, you're doing a lot, girl, because he's not on the same page with her. So I don't know if they're gonna survive. I feel like with Casa Amor, shit's definitely gonna get stirred up, or even with new bombshells maybe. I think she's really sweet though. I think she means well. I like how even though her and Ace were like going back and forth for a little bit, she was still very happy when Ace chose Shelly when he like chose her door or whatever. So I thought that was really cute. What else? Who else? Austin. I did not like Austin at first. I was like, he's kind of, I don't know, he was giving me the ick, but I think his personality is definitely like growing on me. That's all I really have to say about him. Okay, who else can we talk about? Nick is very interesting. At first I feel like he was coming off very shy, but then as the show progresses, he's starting to come out of his shell as well. I think he can be funny, you know, but I don't like how he is kind of like, he kind of followed behind Ace when Ace was like trying to bully Jeremiah for like feeling the way he did about Huda. He was like, oh, you don't think the way she's acting is kind of crazy? Or like the fact that they're like closed off. Him and Sierra I feel like are one of the strongest couples right now, but I feel like it can waver, especially with this new guy TJ that just came in. I think Sierra was like really feeling him, and TJ low-key seemed like he was feeling her, but I don't know if Iris is more of TJ's type. I feel like they had a strong connection in the beginning when he first got there, but I don't know if they're still on the same timeline. So we're gonna see. Iris, she really came in at a terrible time. I feel like Huda and Jeremiah were like going at it, and Huda kind of treated her really bad. Like it was kind of crazy. And the fact that Iris stood behind Huda when it was time to vote was actually insane. We gonna see. I feel like who else is in the villa? Maya, Austin, Ace, Shelly, Jeremiah, Huda, Sierra, Nick, Iris, TJ, and Adrena. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's a lot going on. I'm gonna go ahead and finish my makeup really fast and then be right back. So this is what the completed makeup looks like, and low-key, high-key, I'm loving it. I did not expect the foundation. I also topped it off with the E.L.F dewy setting mist. I think this also makes it look a lot more glowy for sure. I actually really like it. I don't know how this will wear throughout the day, but low-key it's not giving the light coverage that you would assume a skin tint has. I think for it being light coverage, it's still pretty good coverage. So if you don't have a lot to cover up, I think you'll be super happy with this foundation. In terms of coverage, like I said, I don't know how this will wear. For first impressions, I do like it. So I definitely will be wearing this summer. I think I've noticed that I like skin tints because they look more like skin. It doesn't make your makeup look as makeup-y, I guess you can say. Justin has really, whenever I wear skin tints, he's like, your makeup looks really good. So I think it's just because it's like a lighter formula that it just looks better on my skin, but also maybe it's because I'm layering them better. I don't know, but I am loving the foundation. I do see myself continuing to use it. Even though the shade was a little bit lighter, I think I made it work with the bronzer and blush and all the things. Yeah guys, let me know what you guys think. And I know I talked a lot about mostly Jeremiah and Huda, but you know, I feel like it's because that was what Love Island has fed us for the most part at this point. I also know I didn't hit everything that there was to hit because there's just been so much. And like I said, I didn't make any notes for this video, so everything was just kind of off the top of my head. But I'm excited to see what's gonna keep happening. I'm gonna try and get this up relatively fast so it's like kind of fresh before a lot more episodes come out. And then at the end, I'll probably do another one of these so we can, you know, chit chat about what's been going on in the villa. So yeah guys, thank you so much for watching. I know I mentioned these in the video, but I feel like this is just gonna be way too long a video, so I'll probably make like a short or reel or something trying these out. So if you guys are interested, just stay tuned for that. But yeah guys, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and also give this video a big thumbs up. It would really help. It'll really help me out. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.